Hi everyone, Dr. Mel. We're busy with Newton's second law, and this is the last application of the second law. It's elevators. It's a similar effect than the pulleys, but now we've got an elevator. So you can go to a building which is tall, get into an elevator, and you actually have tension in cables pulling you up and pulling you down. Now let's have a look at elevators and how do we apply Newton's second law. So, firstly, if an elevator is at rest, you know there's a cable pulling it upward. Let's call it the tension, which is upward. But as in all cases, you'll also have the weight or the gravity pulling it downwards. And it's going to increase if I've got more people in there. So this cable up here have to be able to hold that elevator with people in it or boxes or whatever in the position. If it's at rest, the important thing is then the tension to the upward direction will be exactly the same as the tension downward because it's at rest. So when it's standing still, the weight pulling downwards will be the same as the tension pulling upward. What happens if it's going up? Well, you can think. If it's going up, the tension in the cable will increase because it's pulling this upward, but we still have the gravity pulling it downwards. So now we have the tension being greater than the gravitational force. And when it's moving down, you know now that we've got this tension still in the cable, but now the gravity will be greater than the tension. Now, we can't change the gravity. In all three of these cases, the gravity will be the same. But the one thing that we can change will be the tension in the cable. So let's quickly have a look. The tension in the cable, if it's at rest, will be exactly the same as the gravity. When it's going upward, the tension is greater than the downward force. And when it's coming downward, the tension will be smaller than the gravity. That's more or less how an elevator works. So you've got the tension in the cables. Let's have a look at questions that they'll ask you. We are now busy with vertical forces. And remember, because we're working with the vertical forces, the horizontal forces will be zero. There's no forces to the left or to the right. Also, we've got a normal. Remember, we are pushing against the surface upward. And in this case, it will be a reading on a scale. I'll go to the scale just now. So I've got an upward tension, I've got a downward gravity, and as I said, we've got this tension. And you'll see we usually call this the reading, but you can maintain T for tension, that's fine. In this case, the pulleys and everything won't have any friction, so there's no other forces. Tension to the top or the reading on the scale and gravity pulling downwards. Let's see what happens if the elevator is stationary. Stationary will mean the tension upward would be exactly the same as the gravity. So the tension is exactly the same magnitude as the gravity pulling downwards. In another sense, if it's going at a constant velocity, it's not accelerating. So if the acceleration is zero, the F net is also zero. Therefore, the upward force will again be exactly the same as gravitation. Now, where will this take place? Let's say, for instance, you get into the elevator and you move upward, then the tension will be increasing. And then let's say, for instance, you're going up for 10 or 17 flights of stories, then there will be a constant velocity. You aren't accelerating all the way because then you go through the roof. So at some stage between the start and the end of your route, there will be a constant velocity, and as I said, there's no acceleration. Important, before you stop, before you get out of the elevator at the 17th floor, the downward force will then have to be greater to slow it down. So it's always changing the tension in the cables. Right. What's happened if it accelerates? Well, it depends in which direction. If it accelerates up, the tension will be greater than the gravitation. Tension greater than gravitation. Now, why am I writing those two down like that? Because you need to know, when I've got to find the net force, I'm going to actually deduct the smaller one from the larger one. Do you see? Then I can work out the acceleration. But it can also accelerate downwards. I'm at the 20th floor and I'm coming down to the ground floor. So what's going to happen now? The gravitational force will be bigger than the tension. The gravitation is bigger than the tension. The F net is gravitation minus T equals ma. So always have a look at the direction, and because there's acceleration, you know you can apply Newton's second law, and then you can deduct the small one from the larger one. We can also have negative acceleration, which is going slower. So if it's going slower, that one is firstly pulling it up, and there's the gravity. And if I said that one is larger than that, it will then accelerate up. And if it's negative acceleration, the Fg will immediately be bigger than the T. So important with elevators that you firstly identify the direction, and then in which direction it's moving, that force will be the greater one. Right, what's happening if something falls free? Now, we are going to address that when we do projectile movements. But let's say, for instance, the cable that was attached to the elevator snaps. Now, you know I've got the downward force as gravity. And if this cable snaps there, it will only be gravity pulling it. And I'm very sorry for anybody or anything that's in the elevator, because you will meet the ground at an extensively high velocity, because you will be accelerating at 9.8 meter per second square all the way. So then you are just falling free and there's no tension or cable to keep you back. Right, what's the questions that they pose on elevators? One of them says the following: a man stands on a scale in a lift. Now, I've never been in any elevator where any person around me stood on a scale, but this is the way physics wants it. So you take your scale, you go to a high building, and you get onto that scale. Why is this important? Because that scale is going to indicate to us what the tension in the cable is. The man stands on the scale. The mass of the person is 80 kilograms, so he's quite heavy, and the scale is calibrated in Newton. So the ones we get will usually be in kilograms. So we can't usually use the scales we've got. So we've got a scale reading of Newton. We know it's 80 kilograms, and now they're going to ask me a few questions. Just bear in mind, if the mass is 80 kilograms, I already know what the gravity is. I can calculate the gravity that's pulling this person downwards, and I calculated that as 784 Newton. What did they ask me? They firstly said to me, calculate the reading on the scale. So that would be the upward force. When? Firstly, if it goes up and it accelerates with 2, then going down with 3, then it's moving at a constant velocity, and that should be -1 because it's velocity, and then it's falling free. Right, let's have a look at the readings. Calculate the reading. I say again, that will be either R or T on the scale if the lift is moving upward. Immediately you say, right, Newton's second law says the net force will have the mass accelerating. It's going upwards, so the T is larger than the Fg. Do you have that? The FG we calculated as 784. T minus 784 is, and we have the mass. Did we have the mass when we calculated that? It was 80 kilograms, and we needed to say that the acceleration is 2. Can you now calculate the tension, which is the reading on the scale? And I got that tension as 944 Newton. And guys, be clear, this is upward. Just make sure, if I'm pulling it upward with 944 and it's going, the frictional force, sorry, not the friction, this is frictionless. The downward force is 784. Can you see it's going upward? Well, important. Then you can see it accelerates. Let's go to the next one. It's now going downwards at 3. Newton's second law says I can have a net force, and I've got that on the mass. So what we have here is downwards, so the Fg will be greater than the T. Fg minus T equals 80A. And I calculated the Fg as 784 minus T, 80. And I've got the acceleration, it is 3. So I've got 784 minus T equals 240. And if you calculate that, you get the value for T as 625 Newton. Again, it is going downward. So the upward force must be smaller than the downward force. This is 784. That one is 624. And you can see the net force is now downward and it's accelerating. Finally, it moves up at a constant velocity. Remember, it's moving at a constant velocity. So what do you know? If it's a constant velocity, the acceleration is 0. Therefore, Newton's second law will also indicate to me 0. So what will this mean? It will mean that the tension is actually equal to the gravity. So what I have here is that I've got the tension equal to gravity, which is then 784 Newton. Therefore, upward 784 Newton, downward 784 Newton, therefore no acceleration. Be careful that you've got to allocate the right direction in order for you to determine the answer. Finally, it's falling free. So what's happening? I said to you, we cut the cable so there's no tension in the cable. So Newton's second law will say F net is ma. The only acceleration now is the 9.8, and we know now that there's no tension. So the R, or the tension, will now be 0 Newton. This was 80. Let me quickly write this down neatly. So I've got 784 minus T equals 784. Do you see? Your T will be 0 Newton. It's falling free. Can you guys define Newton's second law? Will you be able to draw a free body diagram for an elevator? Remember, the tension or the reading on the scale will be the upward force, and the downward force will always be the gravitation. Be careful that you've got the correct direction. If it's going up, T will be greater than the gravity. If it's going down, the gravity will be greater than the T. And if there's no acceleration, they will be exactly the same. I hope you enjoyed working with elevators. Next time you get into an elevator, think a little bit. What's pulling me up and what's pulling me down? Why am I going faster and why am I stopping and going slower? This makes us think about the practical side of Newton's second law. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.